Across the vast and highly lucrative landscape of modern broadcast television, reality talent competitions operate on a very specific and heavily manufactured narrative illusion. Every single season, millions of American viewers tune in with the unwavering expectation of witnessing a miraculous, spontaneous discovery. We are culturally conditioned to anticipate the classic underdog story, where an unassuming, completely inexperienced amateur steps out of the shadows, overcomes their paralyzing anxiety, and fundamentally alters their destiny on a massive national stage. However, as our ongoing investigative coverage of the entertainment industry continues to reveal, these televised miracles are rarely the organic discoveries they appear to be. Behind the bright studio lights and the carefully edited emotional background packages, the reality is often far more complex and strategically calculated by corporate producers. Tonight, we are examining one of the most fascinating and highly irregular auditions in the history of primetime television. We are dissecting the explosive appearance of an artist known as Nene Royal, a 16-year-old performer who completely shattered the established parameters of the traditional talent search during season 21 of America's Got Talent. What the viewing public initially perceived as a charming, deeply shy teenager from Phuket, Thailand, looking for a desperate lucky break, was, in reality, a heavily calculated television debut by a world-class, internationally recognized guitar prodigy. This is the untold story of a secret rock veteran who spent years engineering her craft and amassing millions of followers, only to step into the American spotlight and force the most intimidating judges in Hollywood to completely reevaluate their understanding of raw, undeniable talent. Prepare to uncover the hidden reality of the global music business and why a mastermind already endorsed by major music brands felt compelled to masquerade as a primetime television hopeful just to conquer a brand new market. To understand why a massive television network would go to such great lengths to manipulate the backstory of a teenager, we must analyze the highly predatory, data-driven environment of modern reality television. The life of a true musical prodigy is often characterized by intense discipline, endless rehearsals, and early exposure to the unforgiving music industry. Nene Royal did not just miraculously pick up a guitar a few weeks before her audition. She is a highly dedicated instrumentalist who has spent the vast majority of her young life mastering her craft, building a massive digital footprint, and competing against seasoned adults. But the television network executives operate on a strict business model that prioritizes emotional vulnerability over established professional competence. They functioned as narrative engineers, intentionally stripping away her elite pedigree to present her as a timid, inexperienced child who was completely overwhelmed by the American spotlight. They pushed the narrative that she was merely a shy street performer from Phuket, masking the reality that she was already an award-winning artist capable of dominating festival stages. On national television, she was fed introductory questions designed to highlight her supposed lack of experience, completely ignoring the fact that she had already amassed a staggering global audience of over 3 million followers long before Simon Cowell ever learned her name. The financial rewards of broadcasting a fake Cinderella story are substantial, but they come at the cost of erasing a young woman's genuine, hard-earned professional legacy. This profound act of corporate erasure created a highly volatile internal dynamic, setting the stage for a dramatic musical explosion. It highlights a deeply concerning, systemic flaw within the entertainment business, where actual credentials are aggressively pushed into the background to make room for highly digestible, fabricated underdog tropes. This lack of transparency eventually set the stage for one of the most shocking viral reckonings in the show's history. The internal mechanics of this television deception reached a critical breaking point the very second her audition broadcasted to the world. Behind closed doors, the recording industry operates on a highly manufactured formula, constantly utilizing algorithms and emotional background music to manipulate viewer sentiment. When Nene Royal unleashed her earth-shattering cover of the Cranberries' iconic anthem Zombie, the carefully constructed illusion of the shy amateur instantly evaporated into thin air. She did not simply sing a song. She delivered a ferocious, hyper-polished, stadium-level masterclass that completely obliterated the standard expectations of a 16-year-old contestant. Her voice possessed a rich, warm, and highly aggressive rock maturity that simply cannot be taught in a reality show boot camp. It is a complex texture forged through years of relentless studio grinding, vocal arrangement, and national competitions. She commanded the physical space of the stage with the effortless swagger of a veteran headliner, engaging the crowd and attacking her guitar with a telepathic precision that only comes from years of professional dedication. The juxtaposition between her humble, unassuming introduction and her explosive, world-class talent was absolutely staggering to the live audience. The judging panel, normally known for their calculated, hypercritical analysis, were visibly thrown entirely off balance. They were watching a teenager who had allegedly never experienced a stage of this magnitude completely dominate the room with more charisma and raw power than artists twice her age. It was a definitive, undeniable statement of arrival that would immediately force the judges to completely reevaluate their positions and send the internet into an absolute investigative frenzy to uncover who this girl really was. The immediate aftermath of this monumental performance resulted in an absolute digital tidal wave that the network could no longer control. Within hours of the broadcast airing on national television, the footage of her audition shattered engagement records, accumulating tens of millions of views across global social media platforms. The mainstream media apparatus completely bought into the network's framing, celebrating her as an entirely undiscovered amateur prodigy who had miraculously found her confidence. However, in the contemporary media ecosystem, maintaining a tightly controlled corporate narrative is an increasingly impossible task. The very same digital infrastructure that propelled the video to global virality also provided the tools necessary for internet sleuths to dismantle its central premise. Highly observant viewers and digital investigators began to look beyond the emotional television edit. They quickly realized that her spatial awareness on stage, her flawless breath control, and her ability to instantly command a crowd were the undeniable hallmarks of an elite veteran. The internet is exceptionally ruthless when it comes to identifying inauthenticity, and the narrative of the struggling, shy underdog began to rapidly deteriorate. People began searching her name, and what they found hidden in the digital archives completely shattered the foundation of the television broadcast. Digging into her hidden professional past revealed a resume that most working musicians could only dream of achieving. Nene Royal was already a critically acclaimed, award-winning performing artist in Thailand, completely dominating the Overdrive Guitar Contest in 2023 and securing the title of Outstanding Player at the King Power Band competition in 2025. The shy amateur narrative was unequivocally dismantled by the unassailable truth of her extensive, elite background. Despite the intense scrutiny and the complete unraveling of the network's carefully constructed narrative, the undeniable truth of Nene Royal's talent remained absolute and untouchable. This was brutally confirmed during her highly anticipated return for the Judges Callbacks. Having already set the bar incredibly high with her viral audition, the pressure to deliver a superior performance was immense, and the television executives were watching closely. Instead of playing it safe with a standard pop cover, she made an incredibly bold, high-risk decision that solidified her status as an absolute rock titan. She chose to cover Hysteria by the legendary British rock band Muse, a track from their 2003 album Absolution that is globally recognized for its intensely demanding, heavily driven bass line and complex rhythmic structure. Music historians and industry professionals universally acknowledge this song as an exacting, grueling test of speed, precision, stamina, and control. Executing this track, live on guitar while simultaneously delivering a powerhouse vocal performance is a monumental feat that many seasoned adult professionals actively avoid. Yet, this 16-year-old artist completely dismantled the track with surgical precision. She preserved the ferocious force and character of the original song, while injecting her own unique, hyper-aggressive vocal stylings, proving that her initial audition was not a fluke, but the baseline of her extraordinary capability. This callback performance was a masterclass in musical execution that completely silenced any remaining critics who doubted her authenticity. She effectively utilized the massive television platform not as a starting line, but as a high-powered catalyst to independently reignite the global appreciation for classic, heavy rock music among a brand new generation. As we conclude tonight's special investigative report, the story of Nene Royal serves as a dark, permanent reminder of the extreme lengths the corporate entertainment industry will go to capture our collective attention. We have documented how a singular viral moment was constructed through deliberate omissions and deceptive editing, all designed to exploit the audience's emotional vulnerabilities. The television executives intentionally masked the credentials of a world-class, sponsored guitar prodigy simply to feed the relentless machine of reality television storytelling. However, the ultimate takeaway from this phenomenon is not one of defeat, but of remarkable, undeniable artistic triumph. Nene Royal completely refused to let the corporate television narrative define her absolute worth or her permanent legacy. She stepped into the belly of the reality television beast, faced the most intimidating judges in the history of the format, and completely forced them to submit to her incredible power. She demonstrated that you do not need to genuinely play the role of the tragic underdog to capture the hearts of the public. You can walk into the room with a resume of legendary achievements, absolute confidence, and unapologetic power, and still force the entire world to stand up and applaud. She exposed the artificial boundaries of primetime television and reclaimed her rightful place in the global spotlight, cementing her status as an unstoppable force in the modern entertainment landscape. The next time you witness a miraculous, seemingly perfect television moment, we urge you to look beyond the broadcast. Remember that behind the emotional musical swells, there is always a corporate editing room. But true, undeniable musical greatness will always shatter the illusion. Nene Royal did not need the television network to become a star. The television network desperately needed her to validate their own existence.